Freya. I am a speech and language therapist in the NHS, and I will be talking about avoidance reduction therapy for stuttering, aka arts. So I first came across it from doing some of my own research. I was kind of looking into new therapy approaches for stammering that were more in line with what we call the social model of disability. So therapies that are more inclusive and accepting of stammering. It wasn't long after then where the opportunity for the training came up as part of the Clinical Excellence Network that I'm part of, and they said that they'd managed to get Vivian Siskin, one of the creators of arts, to do online training. What was important for me is that a lot of the training was from people who stammer, who had sort of obviously stammered, been through the course, and then learned how to be trainers within that. So hearing how they found the therapy and how they also support other people who stammer, hearing their testimonies of how it's really worked for them and how it's changed their life, it's very transformative. So yeah, that's been, for me, that was really great to listen to. So it's rooted in conflict avoidance theory, and the aim is to address those feelings of fear, shame, embarrassment around stammering, and combat them and address the control elements that there are around stammering. A lot of it is about what we call open stammering. So there's a shift essentially from the concealment of a stammer moving towards what we call open stammering, which is just being able to stammer openly and freely and as much as possible. And I like one of the key aspects of it is that communication should be joyful, and then that really resonated with me when first learning about it. The first thing we tend to do is work on identification of a person's stammer. So we really look into what we call covert and overt features of stammering. So that might be kind of what's under the surface. We think of stammering kind of like an iceberg. So you've got the overt features are kind of what we might see and hear. So repetitions, prolongations, blocking, facial tension, physical kind of associated physical movements, and then the covert features are kind of what's under the iceberg, and that's where there might be that avoidance, those and those negative feelings, perhaps not always, but that's often what can be underneath. So we would support the client in really identifying what their stammer is like. Then we look at supporting them in reducing avoidant behaviours. So avoidant behaviours can be things like, it might be word switching, word avoiding, it can be full situations that a person might avoid, eye closure during stammering moments. There's lots of things that can build up essentially. So it's helping them reduce those avoidant behaviours through something called monitoring. With arts, the success is not measured through a reduction in stammering. So it's not about trying to speak more fluently. What it is about is trying to speak much more freely. Whether you stammer or not, it's about finding that spontaneity and joy in communication. And it doesn't matter, whether the stammer's there lots and lots. It's about it feeling comfortable as well, and free. So we're shifting from sort of control to being more confident, really, and it's about moving towards that open stammering, so them feeling free in how they communicate and feeling free when they stammer, and I think that's a big part of taking ownership of it, is abandoning sort of all the control elements that there are, and just going for it. We want people to feel that they are being their true authentic selves, and often if there's a lot of that avoidance that's there, that's not fully possible, because they're concealing and hiding the stammer, and not being your true authentic self can have such a life impact. So art sort of unpicking that can be really, really helpful for people to feel like they're them, and that their stammer's part of them. It doesn't define them, but it's just part of who they are, and that's how it is, and it's fine. So here in the Stammering Support Service within Leeds Community Healthcare in the NHS, we offer kind of 5 to 6 week what we call taster course, which is group therapy, and we teach them sort of the theory, if you like, around what arts is about, for those 5 to 6 weeks. And then after that time, we run a like a weekly group therapy. So people who've already done the course might be on that, and then as the new people come through, they join that group for sort of continued peer support essentially, and we carry on with the therapy because it's not something theoretically that can be sort of completed within 5-6 weeks. If it's taken years to form these avoidant behaviours, it will take time to unpeel that back again. So that's why we sort of run regular therapy sessions within Leeds.